This is Victoria, an engineering student knowing the most in education. In the last 12 videos, we have had a complete and systematic presentation of the 6 major philosophies of education. While marveling at these theories myself, I also wondered why so many theories have arisen, developed, and been interpreted. So in this video, we will discuss 2 questions. What should education really focus on? How can we manage the relationship between educational theory and practice? Firstly, let's put our 6 major theories together and summarize what changes they had compared to traditional education. The first shift we found is from pursuing commonality to respecting individual diversity. In the 20th century, it became clear that the pursuit of uniformity was not possible. Therefore, students' individuality and personality are aimed to be cultivated. The second one is from a focus on the rational to irrational. Education in the past was dominated by rationalism. Human reason was omnipotent, and the ultimate goal was to know the logic in the world. So the focus in education was on the development on the student's rationality. But by the time of Dewey and his progressivism, a personal direct experience is the most important, which includes rationality and sensation. The efficiency to transmit knowledge and train rationality is no longer the only focus of education. The third one is the recognition of teachers' and schools' effects, from infinite to limited. Adler said that teachers' teaching is like farmers growing crops. Without the labor of farmer, nature naturally grows the crops, and all the farmer can do is to water and protect them from insects. So just the same, students can learn better with teachers, but they can learn without teachers. What comes first is the learning of students, not the teaching of teacher. Just as a farmer who waters and fertilizes more than his crops need may flood or poison them, too many materials with dysfunctional methods may be no good to students. Education is about bringing out the essential forces inherent in human beings and let them grow freely. Once we have found the commonalities together, let's look at them separately. To put these 6 major doctrines into a chart and explain their relationships to each other. We can start by classifying education according to whether it focuses on theory or practice, and then move on to which subject is at the center of each subdivision. When education is focused on theory, teacher-centered is essentialism, student-centered is existentialism, and principle-centered is perennialism. When the focus of education is on practice, teacher-centered is neo-behaviorism, student-centered is progressivism, and society-centered is reconstructionism. This is the process to find the core of each philosophy. When we read similar theoretical books, to get deeper, we can compare and contrast the various theories and make a map of the relationships like this. During our journey, the most frequently received question is how to balance these theories. But I'd like to say that there's no perfection. We need to accept every method has 2 sides in different concrete practical scenarios. And the more general the solution, the more useless it is. So what we pursue is not a perfect solution, but the ability to implement them according according to our real situations? That is for the second question. How can we manage the relationship between educational theory and practice? We need to have some practice in our own situation before making any judgments. Because the object itself is indifferent to good or bad. Value emerges only when it is related to human needs. It is dangerous to have judgments first and then to cut facts according to them. Finally, I would like to discuss a more serious topic: Post-Modernist education. Teachers have started to focus on interaction in class. They keep adding questions, discussions, constantly giving tasks for students, constantly doing them. It seems good, but let's consider it. If there were no more questions from the teacher, would these children be able to learn new things on their own? They don't know what they need to learn. They learn only when the teacher gives them tasks and asks them questions. So what will such students become? They will become the workers who have to be commanded to act, who are able to solve the tasks assigned by the leader perfectly, but cannot be the leaders themselves. After the Middle Ages in Europe, along with the process of modernization, industrialization, and urbanization, the emphasis on the aims of education transitioned from knowledge to human development. So let's return to the very first question of education. What are the criteria for having been educated? What kind of person do we want to develop? What's your answer? What kind of person do you think you want to develop in the face of this group of students in your own classes? The people who finish their homework on time? People who don't talk in class? Actually, education is not about training skills to solve problems. It's not about transferring knowledge that is not dynamic. It's not about aiming to behave instrumentally. We want the students who have received our education to have not only specialized skills, but also a large number of conceptual knowledge to form their cognitive structures. To learn skills that becomes a real part of their personality, so that the knowledge they acquired is not inert, but can be transferred flexibly and thus change their way of life. Their behavior is not instrumental, but active. To achieve this, teachers should provide task, scaffolding, and form, which are big purpose with dismantle steps and standards. With scaffolding, with some key questions and key instructions, the progress of the session is not dependent on a teacher. Students are able to teach and carry out their own learning. Therefore, teacher is less functional and students are more autonomous. You may ask, is this something too idealistic to be realized? I would say, ideals are not meant to be realized. But with this ideal, we can gradually increase our efficiency by making this trend closer in practice, in reality. Okay, for now, thank you so much for watching. For following me, cover the journey of philosophy of education, which is only a tiny part. Because the most important aim of the study of philosophy of education is not to gain knowledge, but to improve educational reflection ability. The greatest value of philosophy of education is that it provokes questions. It is less about answering questions and more about asking questions that keeps us thinking. So after entering the gates, let's keep asking, keep exploring on our own way of philosophy of education. Look forward to your ideas and comments. See you!